And now this is something that came up on the A&E documentary about the Steiner brothers, WWE-produced documentary. So during said documentary, Scott Steiner...
Who produced it?
This is a WWE documentary.
Okay.
So Scott Steiner was asked if he took steroids to transform into Big Papa Pump. And I'm sure you got your own preconceived notions. He denied the claims, and he said he never failed a drug test. He said, you can make all the accusations you want. I've never failed a drug test. Take that information and do what you want with it. When I made the transition from the Steiner brothers to Big Papa Pump, I wanted to get in the best shape I possibly could. A lot of strict diet. Once you are leaner, you naturally are going to look bigger. Do you believe that Scott Steiner has never taken a steroid or performance-enhancing drug in his life?
Hell no. Nobody believes that. I remember when he first started, he's all jacked up, and so you can tell sometimes when they're all roided up because they have short tempers. Anything makes them hot, and boy, Scott used to go off, not in me. I was in WCW one time, and Scott and what was his partner's name? His brother's name?
Rick.
They had went out and had a match, and it was okay. It was like 1,000 other matches. The Steiners, like if a bad match would kill you. No, a bad match wouldn't kill you. But he didn't like the match. He wanted to go and do it again. So he went up to the to-go position, and Jody Hamilton was there, and he ran the go position. And he kept saying, hey, we need to do this over again, Jody. We need to do that match over again. And Jody was telling him the truth. He said, no, we can't do it over. We're pressed for time. It's okay. It's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And he kept up and kept up. Rip Rogers was standing there. Rip says, oh, Scott, it's okay. He laughed. Boy, Scott come across from like down in South Florida somewhere, South Georgia, with a hand slap. He dug way back down, and he hit him so hard you could hear it in the next room. He almost knocked him out. And I stood there and I was like aghast. I mean, damn. I never remember what he said. He said, I'm just trying to help out. And he walked off, and his face, his side of his face, about 15 seconds later, it was like Chernobyl going.
You know that Rick Rogers denies this story. I'm going to hear about it. And Rick Rogers said it never happened. He never got
It did happen. It did happen. I've told it before. And I was standing right there. Yes, it did happen.
maybe
what it was. It wasn't. It was his attitude, and Scott didn't take kindly to it. Like, it's okay. Hey, don't worry about it, man. And he chuckled. I think that's what pissed Scott off. But okay, if he says it didn't happen, I'm going to go along with it. I retract my statement. This is the second time I've told it on a pay-per-view. So I guess I'm just telling.
This show's free, by the way.
It's what?
You said pay-per-view, not podcast.
Podcast, right? Yeah. The second time I've told it on a podcast, and is this the first time I told it on this? I
think you may have mentioned it once before, and then I interviewed Rick Rogers, and he was just like, "That never happened." But you said, well, you were watching him right there and saw his head swell up like a melon.
Well, his head didn't swell up like a melon; it just got red,
like he had radiation burns.
No kidding. So anyway, okay.
Well, let me go back to something Scott said. He said, I've never failed a drug test, which is easy to do when you don't take them. So here's one example that he claimed to say. When WWE allegedly asked Scott Steiner to take a test for steroids, Steiner claimed that he retorted with the following: "I told WWE to have Triple H pick me up in a limo, then we could go and test together." And then, unsurprisingly, the subject of drug testing was never brought up again. Now, I didn't know that WWE was testing in the early 2000s, so I don't know if that's a slightly dubious claim there, but we'll not know. And also, once in WCW, that Steiner miraculously had a back injury when a test was scheduled for a WCW Thunder tape, and this was in a response to like an ESPN documentary expose on steroids in sports. So WCW had scheduled a steroid test. Steiner didn't show up because of a back injury, but he showed up to the next Monday Nitro live show.
The back got better.
Yeah, he carried Scott Norton across the ring, and Scott Norton's like 380 pounds.
Well, he's a superhuman.
He is a superhuman, and let's not forget
keep that in mind.
Let's not forget the uncontrollable rage, especially in the late 90s, that Scott had reportedly gone through, including getting arrested several times for starting fights.
I think the steroids were so prevalent at one time in the wrestling business. It's a damn wonder they didn't all kill each other, because they all had bad tempers, bad dispositions. You could piss them off at the drop of a pin. So those guys were, and you knew the ones that were on steroids. You just have to look at them. So don't go up and kind of try to cut a smart joke on them, because you'd piss them off. And then you don't know where that would lead.